Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Eternal Sonata playthrough. It is time to enter the rather beautiful Celesta forest. And just, this piece of music is just absolutely gorgeous. I believe that this is called Snow and Ice Boundary. But I could be ever so slightly wrong on that. Largely because, as I've said, I have got all of the songs on the soundtrack here, but bar certain songs, i.e. generally the ones that have samples attached to them, it's difficult to locate where said songs actually occur in the game, because it's not noted anywhere. And it's a bit annoying because, I'd like to be able to tell. So it's something that, as I'm sure anyone who's watched my playthroughs knows, I very much like to know exactly when a song is played, so that then I can note it, because there's times when you're going through, a game soundtrack, because you're just like, oh, what was that one song that I really liked? And often you can't find out what it is. So you just sort of go, oh, okay, well, it's just that one that plays in that bit. And annoyingly, there are certain song titles which don't automatically correspond to certain locations. So really, the only ones that I can properly tell you are ones that are located within dungeons or very specific battles. That always helps, because that's what the Eternal Sonata wiki has let us know about. Anyway, before we can get into the Aria Temple, we need to head into... well, we need to go get the Aria Temple key, which you can only get by trading something with this fellow. Now, ultimately this marks the end of our trading quest. And before you think, oh god, you have to do that entire trading quest to finish the game. No, you don't. But it does mean that you get to do this easier, because otherwise you would have to get the thing from a chest, or I can't remember if it's a drop from an enemy in the Celesta forest, to be able to get the key. So this basically just makes your job so much easier. And also, that Magatama over there was that thing that I was talking about quite a while ago now, the first time that we were in Baroque Castle. For some reason he wouldn't let us in until now, but now that we're allowed in, that's fine. But anyway, because we gave him the spellbook, we get the Aria Temple key, and that means that we're going to be able to get into the Aria Temple. And that just makes me very happy, because it basically means that now we can finish Chapter 5 of Eternal Sonata. And after this point is when the story is going to quite quickly surge towards its climactic moments. As I said before, surge towards its climactic moments, but we're still going to be here for quite a while. Because obviously final dungeons take a while. And that really is just one of those things. Now, I'm still looking for that crazy lady who's meant to tell us something or other, but clearly she is not present anywhere, which is really irritating, but fine. So since we are returning to the Celesta forest, I might as well tell you a little bit about the Celesta, or Celeste. Basically, it's a struck idiophone operated by a keyboard, which sounds a little bit complicated, but an idiophone is any musical instrument that creates sound primarily by the instrument as a whole vibrating, without the use of strings or membranes. So, it looks very much like a piano, but the keys connect to hammers that strike a set of metal plates or bars suspended over wooden resonators. So basically, I suppose you sort of get the ching 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 that you got in this song. I don't know whether that's definitely the case, but I suspect that that's sort of where you're going with. Actually, one of the best known uses of the Celesta is in Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker. And yeah, that is pretty famous in terms of classical music. And also it's something that's quite interesting about it is that it's a transposing instrument, in that it sounds 1 octave higher than the written pitch. Which is actually quite fascinating, that you play it in... You're effectively playing 1 octave, but the sound is 1 octave higher. And obviously an octave is about... Oh god. Yeah, it's 8 notes higher than initially. So that's quite cool. See, I love this sort of stuff because you really do learn so much about different things that you didn't even realise were a thing. So I mean, like, I didn't know that John Williams' scores for the first 3 Harry Potter films feature the instrument, particularly in the first 2 films' frequent statements of Hedwig's theme, which is that's awesome.
Very good.
Oh, I need to listen to some Celesta music then, because that's just awesome. And oh, we've got Geoblade. Now, on Jazz, Geoblade is basically his shadow equivalent of Heatblade. So obviously it's super awesome, and I would definitely recommend it over Plasma Chains. Because while obviously Plasma Chains has its uses, in that obviously if anybody's behind you, you've got someone in front of you and behind you, you can kind of get that go on. Generally, it's not going to be how you're going into battle, which I mean, it's fine, but yeah, it just makes it a little bit more difficult because you're generally not battling in that manner. At least I certainly am not. And also, since we're here, I might as well talk about some of these enemies. Because obviously here we have the Anathema, which is just quite a fun name for an enemy, largely because it means something or someone that one vehemently dislikes, which is quite helpful quite fitting for these guys. But also, it's a formal curse by a pope or council of the church, excommunicating a person or denouncing a doctrine. So, it's a pretty negative word, and yeah, those guys pretty screwed. And annoyingly, I don't have much info on other enemies, but we'll see, because we are going to run into them shortly. And I'm still trying to make sure I get all of the treasure chests. And ooh, Orbis! I wonder whether that's a good upgrade for Salsa. You can tell it's Salsa because it's kind of yellowy orange. Oh, beautiful! Always love a good upgrade. I mean, that's basically everything that I have ever advised in this game, is just take the upgrade, because the weapons are awesome. It's only the odd one which has a status effect associated with it that is not great, and oh, I love Starlight Blast. I don't know whether I ever really used it when I first played Eternal Sonata, because I was pretty ardent in sticking with Sunslash. You can see why, because it's a great thing. And also we have a White Pearl and a Flamia, it seems. So yeah, like, I stuck to the moves that I had, and that's okay. It does very easily allow you to get through these battles, but it is fun to experiment with some of the later moves, especially the ones that are actually infinitely more powerful. And yeah, these guys really don't stand much of a chance, and ultimately, the way that I use the Celesta Forest path is basically, it's just levelling up for those left behind. You are actually probably better just going into the dungeon and fighting the enemies in there, because you're going to get more experience from them. But because obviously it's been a very long time since I'd originally played a Tale Sonata, I don't remember how much experience enemies give out. So that's not going to be in my headspace. Like, I've got more important things to think about. So, especially when recording playthroughs like this, I tend to live very in the moment. For better or worse, let's put it that way. Because, yeah, I mean, this is obviously going slightly heavily into the Let's Play playthrough process, but people do have different methods of dealing with it, basically. So some people like to practice and practice and practice their route until they've got it pitch perfect and record it like that. Some people like to play it and whatever happens, happens, and they leave it at that. Some people like to play through it and just see how it pans out, but make sure that they have a guide there so that they've got a rough idea of what they're doing and when they're doing it, so that they don't get lost, so that they get a nice smooth run, but one that is still relatively natural. I pretty much fall into that sort of category. I think, were this my full-time job, which obviously it is not, then I would probably spend more time making sure I knew my routes before I recorded, to make sure that the playthroughs were of the highest possible standard that they could be. But because I have a full-time job and I have a plethora of other things going on, many other commitments, I personally do not have the time to put... I don't have the time to put the effort in to get that perfect, so I have to just go with, well, what happens, happens, unless it's a really bad run of a level or battle or what have you, at which point I'll then go back in and redo it. A good example would be Bayonetta or The Wonderful 101, because obviously I wanted to get a certain ranking, so if I didn't get that ranking I had to redo it, because that was the way that I wanted to play that game. Whereas, certainly with something like A Tale Sonata, it's far too long, for me anyway, to treat it like that, so I was very much going in the live in the moment style, because at that point it's just nice and easy, and also it's fun, because while practicing so that you get something perfect can be a lot of fun. I mean, the fact that obviously speedrunning is so popular and so many people do that, because mastering a game is awesome. It takes a lot of time investment to do that, and there's quite a lot of people out there who don't have that time investment. So it's fun to just be able to sit back and just play a game and see how it goes. Obviously I do have some standards. They're certainly not as high as some other people that I do really respect. But anyway, We've made it to the Arya Temple at last.
Huh? Hey everyone, I think I saw someone go in that door just now.
Really? Where? I didn't see anyone going anywhere, Polka.
Yeah, I really doubt that there's anyone around here.
Are you sure? Oh, I could have sworn. It looked like it was a woman.
So yes, isn't that gorgeous? And I'm pretty sure I saw someone entering this place as well. Feel like they looked somewhat familiar, but there really wasn't enough time to fully focus on what said person looked like. Which I suppose was pretty much the point. So, let's save up and head into the dungeon that is going to mark the end of Chapter 5 Nocturne. Let's get right in to the Arya Temple. Yay!